welcome back. Thank you for joining me today. I am always so happy to see you coming back and liking my content, sharing my content, and subscribing. I'm so grateful for that. It just makes me so happy to see that hopefully my message is offering inspiration and encouragement and empowering others who are trying to live their own version of no more pockets, choose real, about no more hiding the truth of who you are, living authentically in all areas of your life, and moving forward with it, taking daily steps, whatever it takes, however you decide works best for you to move forward on your path and on your journey. And I am sitting snuggled in a corner today. It's kind of a cold, gray, damp day here, and going through one of my favorite books of all time called The Gifts of Imperfection by the one and only Brené Brown, who I love to death. She was the first one when I saw her very first TED Talk that stopped me in my tracks. I'd never heard anybody so clearly and concisely take all the emotions and all the experiences that I had felt growing up and share them in such a way as a research scientist, as she claims herself to be, did. And I have since gotten every book she's written and read them all the time. It's maybe something you might want to do if you have heard of Brené Brown but haven't read any of her books. They are so inspirational and encouraging. So I was thinking today about belonging, the term of belonging, and how in different situations I've heard people say that, oh, I don't feel like I belong in that group or in this area of my life, I'm still struggling to feel like I belong there, whether it be in a gym or, like I said, in some kind of a business group, in any way that they're challenging themselves to rise up and change their environment. Often that's when they will refer to the fact that they're like, I don't feel like I belong there. So ironically, in today's message, I wanted to just read this with you and see, or rather share some of my thoughts on it. But she says that how many people use the term fitting in and belonging interchangeably. And that she says, like many of you, I'm really good at fitting in. We know exactly how to hustle for approval and acceptance. We know what to wear, what to talk about, and how to make people happy, what not to mention. We know how to chameleon our way through the day. One of our biggest surprises in this research was learning that fitting in and belonging are not the same thing. In fact, fitting in gets in the way of belonging. Fitting in is about assessing a situation and becoming who you need to be accepted. Belonging, on the other hand, doesn't require us to change who we are. It requires us to be who we are. She goes on briefly, very briefly, she says, because true belonging only happens when we present our authentic, imperfect selves to the world. Our sense of belonging can never be greater than our level of self-acceptance. And finally, she says, from gangs to gossiping, we will do what it takes to fit in if we believe it will meet our need for belonging, but it doesn't. We can only fit in, we can only belong when we offer our most authentic selves and when we are embraced for who we are. So just in thinking about my 4 foundations that I had wrote about, that you can still download off of my website, nomorepockets.org. It's more of a journal and actual workbook, but in going through some of the 4 foundations, when I talk about self-acceptance, self-love, moving through fear, and this talk of belonging and why it's so important, and moving forward and embracing our uniqueness, our qualities, everything that makes us, again, different. But different, I don't like that word so many times because people say different makes them feel isolated and outside of a group, where unique makes us feel special. It's about the terminology that we use and how it affects us and makes us feel more comfortable rather in the terms we use to describe ourselves. And in this case, I will say that what touched me and why it touched me so much is because I've experienced that. I've experienced the hiding my hand in my pocket for the sake of feeling like I fit in. Because for a short time, for a couple of years, it did work. It did. It's like people didn't see my hand first, so they got to know me. And then when my hand came out of my pocket, it didn't seem to be quite as big of an issue. What started to change all that was I started to realize it was becoming just a pain in the ass to always trying to be figuring out a way to hide my hand in order to feel accepted. And I knew to find true belonging and to get rid of this pain, I was going to have to understand and accept that I could not change my hand. I could only change the circumstances on how I decided to live my life. And that came from taking my hand out of my pocket. And what I found in regards to true belonging was actually it wasn't as big of a deal as I thought. I felt like people kind of who had noticed me hiding before saw this side of me that was no longer willing to hide, and there was a greater sense of respect on their part. And with that, actually, more importantly, what I was finding is I had more self-respect for myself because I was learning to just trust in who I am and knew my value and what I offered people. And the freedom that followed is just undescribable. And so for today, I just want you to think about her thoughts on fitting in and belonging and how they might apply to your life and what you're doing by living less than who you are, not living the truth of who you are, and is it really bringing you that thing that you're so wanting, that we as humans are here to do? Is it bringing you that sense of connection and the sense of belonging, not only to your higher truths, those qualities that are important to you, self-respect, self-love, self-acceptance, but are they connecting you to others in that same way? If they're not, if there's still this pain and this nudge and this knowing that to find everything, I encourage you to look for those 4 foundations, to be able to let go and overcome shame, to move through fear, to find unconditional self-acceptance, and to build your self-worth. It all begins in finding your sense of belonging first within yourself, living that, and then watching the sense of belonging you will find as you come into others groups, other ways of being in your mind and in your life. And just keep going with that. Just keep following your heart, following your intuition, changing your self-talk, opening up your perceptions, being more aware, and always being brave enough, setting small, simple little goals to just know that in the end, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. What matters is what you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, and how you are moving towards building the sense of belonging that you so truly desire and deserve. If you want, I would say there's so much beautiful truths and empowerment in Brené's book, The Gifts of Imperfection. Check it out if you feel called to do so. And as always, thank you so much for being here with me today. I look forward to seeing you back here real soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.